person is, anything can happen. Anybody can be knocked out. Because remember, the chin don't lift weights. That's what I always say.
As heavyweights as the sparring, or bigger people, like from middleweight to heavyweight. And the thing is, don't be surprised, okay? This is a photo. This is a photo of one of the bigger guys that he was sparring.
Floyd Mayweather was left completely stunned after watching Gervonta Davis knock out a heavyweight during sparring for the Jake Paul fight. He said, "People still don't get it. Size doesn't define boxing. A bigger body can hit the floor just as fast if the other man has speed, power, and perfect timing." Floyd went on to explain that a smaller fighter can absolutely take down a larger one, and once again, Tank proved it by dropping a man far above his weight.
I can be knocked out, so I don't put nothing past nobody. I can be knocked out. Hit me from the blind side. I mean, that's most time how fighters get knocked out, with the hook. You can't see a hook coming because it comes from the blind side. But as far as with boxing, I don't really need to beef with. I really don't need to beef with nobody in the sport of boxing. Even though it could be some people I really don't like. I don't need to beef with nobody. They ain't got what I got. They boxers. I'm a businessman. And then on the outside, most time, a motherfucker got beef with me because they ain't got what I got.
Gervonta Davis has built his entire career on testing himself against bigger opponents long before this fight ever came around. His coaches say pushing his explosiveness against men with more mass keeps him sharp and calm under pressure. That kind of training forces him to stay light on his feet and strike with pinpoint timing. Meanwhile, Jake Paul is grinding in his own camp, working with shorter, slick fighters to get used to someone fast and unpredictable. Both sides know that size alone won't decide this fight. Davis was shaped by years of conditioning built on resilience, while Paul is crafting ways to close distance and find clean openings. With every session, both camps prepare for a showdown where intelligence and discipline could matter more than pure strength.
Or bigger people, like from middleweight to heavyweight. And the thing is, don't be surprised, okay? This is a photo. This is a photo of one of the bigger guys that he was sparring. But in the past, you know, like maybe a few years ago, guy in Mayweather's camp, he was a bigger guy. I think he was like a middleweight or something like that. He was whooping his ass. One time he was like on live whooping a bigger guy's ass. I mean, he's just beating bigger guys like middleweights and stuff. He's done that in sparring forever. Remember this story? I've brought it up a million times and I've showed this clip a million times, but on Ellie Set Back, this story of this guy saying how Gervonta Tank Davis knocked out this heavyweight.
Tell me the story. What happened?
Tank, what's the one boy name?
No, don't say a name. I don't want to embarrass anyone.
Oh, no, you're right.
But tell people what happened.
Man, I was about to spar. Before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring this big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this. I'm like, I thought he died. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought he died.
Hey, I've seen him knock out some heavyweights. He might knock all the ass out now.
You knocked out a heavyweight?
Yeah.
How was that?
Cause I hit harder than Wilder.
Now, granted, the heavyweights that Gervonta Tank not like, you know, all-time great heavyweights, all right? And it shouldn't be. But he's sparring the heavyweight, the level of heavyweight that, you know, more experienced than Jake Paul, right? But Jake Paul has beaten those heavyweights himself, all right? I'm thinking that is the caliber of heavyweight that Gervonta Tank Davis is sparring, but he's whooping their asses. And with Jake Paul sparring Raymond Ford, to me, it looked like Raymond Ford got the best of him. It looked like Jake Paul was a little exhausted, and it looked like Raymond Ford wasn't. It looked like Jake Paul was a little disappointed in his performance, and Raymond Ford was trying to give him a pick-me-up. Like, you know, just kind of letting him know. No, like, you know, do this and do that. It just looked like Raymond Ford was in a confident, secure place, more dominant place, the more alpha out the two in the ring. Ford, that ain't Gervonta Davis. You know, I love Raymond Ford. I have him on my fighters list. But still, I don't think anyone thinks he's as skillful or as powerful as Gervonta Tank Davis.
Recent reports from camp say regulars have seen Davis drop sparring partners towering over him in both height and strength. Witnesses described moments where massive fighters wobbled just trying to stay on their feet after taking his shots. The shock wasn't just in how hard he hit. It was in the precision, the way he landed right on the chin. Those who entered the ring thinking they could overpower him learned fast that it was a mistake. Word from inside the gym suggests his power carries shockwaves far beyond the lightweight class. That fuels Davis's confidence and quietly warns anyone who thinks size can shield them. His upper body torque and tight stance let him generate explosive force in an instant. Together, they make his knockout threat dangerous for anyone daring to face him.
So look at this. Gervonta Davis knocked out heavyweight in brutal sparring session. And it just makes me think, you're willing to go spar with heavyweights, but you're not willing to go fight people that you should be fighting. You know what I mean? You're fighting Lamont Roach. His sparring partners was like, man, I was about to spar Tank. He was sparring this big boy, a heavyweight boy. And Tank hit him so hard, he was on the ropes like this, hanging. I thought he died. I was like, man, I hope you don't do this stuff to me. When Davis asked to confirm whether it was true, the WBA lightweight champion said, stuff be happening. Best not to get in there with me. That's it. This guy has all the skills in the world to knock out even heavyweights in sparring, and yet he won't fight Shakur Stevenson. He won't fight Teofimo Lopez. He won't fight anyone that he needs to fight to become great. He's fighting Frank Martin and Lamont Roach. You know what I mean? It's just truly crazy. But hey, it's his career. If he wants to just make money, the easiest money that he can without fighting the hardest competition.
A well-known boxing analyst recently pointed out that judging Davis by his last fight overlooks his long history of powerful finishes. Even on a night when expectations fell short, he stayed composed and made it through every round. That kind of calm under fire is something only true veterans have. Paul's shown bravery, but he hasn't faced the same elite pressure where one slip could change everything. For Davis, tough nights turn into lessons. For Paul, those moments are still uncharted territory. Fans quick to predict an upset seem to forget how many top-tier fighters Davis has broken down with patience and precision. Hoping for surprise doesn't erase the gap in experience. In the end, it's often composure in those critical moments that decides who walks away victorious.
Jake Paul is not beating Tank Davis. Can't believe I actually have to make this video, but let's break this down. The fact that there's actually credible names in the boxing industry saying that Jake Paul's gonna KO Tank Davis is wild. Look, I know Tank Davis's last performance against Lamont Roach was not that good. And in recent years, he's devalued his stock as a fighter by cherry picking, being extremely inactive, and just straight up fighting lazy sometimes. But let's not forget the offensive powerhouse that Tank Davis is. When he's on, he's one of the best knockout punchers in the sport today. He usually fights very economical the first few rounds, whether that's by strategy or that's just a habit he's had ever since he started boxing. But he starts out very slow in the first few rounds. But once he starts to let his hands go, and that snowball starts running downhill, there's almost nothing in the sport of boxing that can stop that. You need a guy who has elite defense to be able to stop an offensive assault like that. Only guys like Shakur Stevenson, Jaron Ennis, and maybe Devin Haney have the ability to stop that. And then we have Jake Paul. Yes, he's 6'2". Yes, he's going to be 200 pounds in the ring. But as you can see with his fight with Tommy Fury, he has poor defense. Whenever he faces another boxer who actually knows what they're doing, once they let their hands go, Jake doesn't know what to do. He's not comfortable defending, whether that's moving his feet or moving his head or just having a tight high guard. He doesn't do it. He gets fatigued and starts dropping his hands, and that would be fine if he had good movement to make up for it, but he doesn't. He has some pretty decent offense, but he mainly throws punches and combinations for the first 4 or 5 rounds and then gets fatigued. He's not a true one-punch knockout artist, and he's not a very good strategic fighter either when it comes to winning decisions. So what's going to happen is Jake Paul's going to throw combinations for the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then right when he gets tired, Tank's going to come on strong and start unloading with the hardest punches that Jake Paul has ever been hit with. And he'll get stopped. It might not be a one-punch knockout, but Jake Paul will get stopped.
Carl Froch, highly respected for his decorated boxing career, voiced serious concerns about safety heading into this unusual matchup. His worry centers on the huge size gap between the fighters, a difference that could turn dangerous if not managed carefully. Froch explained that sanctioning bodies usually match fighters within close weight classes to prevent these kinds of risks. He knows spectacle sells, but part of him can't help wondering how much punishment a smaller man can really take from a heavier hitter. Coming from a veteran who's survived wars in the ring, his words carry real weight. His message isn't about criticism. It's about making sure both men walk out of the ring unharmed.
I mean, I don't really take Jake Paul that serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. Swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he does so much wrong. It's just, everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size, who's a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, he's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level. And then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like totally different. It's like a different sport.
Analysts watching Gervonta Davis throughout camp have noticed a laser-sharp focus that shows just how seriously he's taking this fight. There's no joking, no drifting thoughts, only purpose. Everything about his preparation reflects a man who understands exactly what's at stake. Experts emphasize this isn't just another paycheck. It's a chance to conquer a stage far bigger than boxing itself. By beating Jake Paul, Davis could step in front of a massive global audience that hangs on Paul's every move. That spotlight could lift his name beyond the sport and open doors to even greater opportunities. With so much on the line, Davis looks determined to make a statement. His coaches say every punch has intent, every drill pushes his limits, and every second in the gym feels like an investment in legacy. Inside camp, there's one shared belief. Davis isn't just preparing to fight, he's preparing to prove something.
Press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, no, this dude he's going to get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. A lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what
Teofimo Lopez, one of boxing's brightest young champions, views this event as a smart business move above all else. He explained that not every fight needs to be about legacy or championship gold. Sometimes the market just craves pure entertainment, and both fighters are playing their roles perfectly. Lopez believes every boxer deserves a chance to secure financial stability while growing their audience. As long as they bring excitement, the fans get exactly what they paid for. There's no reason to pretend every matchup is built for Hall of Fame history. In today's world, massive success and media buzz can be just as meaningful. And for both men, that's a win worth celebrating.
All of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that.
The weight gap has become one of the biggest talking points around this fight, and analysts can't help but debate its significance. Many experts point out that Jake Paul brings a clear physical edge, and if his power lands clean, it could spell real trouble for Gervonta Davis. They insist that size and strength always matter in combat sports and shouldn't be overlooked. But others push back, arguing that Davis's polished technique, sharp defense, and flawless timing give him the tools to level the playing field. They remind everyone that boxing isn't won by muscle alone. It's won by skill, strategy, and precision under pressure.
Happy for Gervonta and Jake. I really am, man. It's good for the sport in some way, So a heavyweight versus a lightweight.
Yeah.
You got a fly hit me, yeah. A heavyweight versus a lightweight. How's this going to work?
Hey, they make it work. It's an exhibition for a reason. So, they know what they're doing. And, shout out to Netflix and shout out to both of them, honestly. Like I said, I think a lot of people in the boxing world are kind of upset. I could care less. I think they're going to go out there and make their money. It falls on the number 8 for a reason. They're going to make a lot of money.
Have you got a prediction for that fight?
My prediction? A show.
Well, clearly it's a show, but when you've got a lot of people underestimating Jake Paul once again, but when you've got a heavyweight boxer who knows how to throw punches and knows the basics against a lightweight, it's quite a difference. I mean, have you sparred heavyweights before?
Yeah.
For competitive sparring in the ring?
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same, not at all. Definitely got to move. I've actually played around a few times, went through between their legs just to duck around. But yeah, because they're taller, But I think for that competition, that fight, it reminds me a lot like The Big Show, and Floyd Mayweather when they fought in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And will that end the same way?
Possibly. Maybe some brass knuckles in there too.
Can you see Jake Paul knocking out Gervonta Davis?
It's boxing, man. And if it's a show like this, anything goes, anything happens.
Carl Froch returned with even stronger warnings about the dangers of a matchup featuring such extreme size differences. He explained that athletic commissions usually enforce strict rules to protect fighters from risky mismatches. In his view, full power punches from someone naturally bigger and stronger could overwhelm even the most skilled opponent. Froch believes the smaller fighter has likely never absorbed a truly heavy shot from a man with that kind of raw strength. While solid technique can reduce the damage, he warns that unpredictable situations can still unfold. His concern isn't about competition or hype. It's purely about safety and preventing unnecessary harm.
It is happening. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child, Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight. And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves. And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded on their professional records.
Dana White, the outspoken head of the world's biggest MMA organization, didn't hold back when talking about this fight. He admitted that the hype hasn't exploded quite the way promoters expected, but he still sees a silver lining for Davis. After months of headlines focused on his life outside the ring, this massive spotlight could help restore his public image and remind people of his talent. White also pointed out that Jake Paul's reach and size could create real pressure once the bell rings. If Paul keeps pushing forward, Davis will need to think fast, slip out of corners, and fire back with precision counters. White's take carries both doubt and realism, a mix of skepticism and respect for the potential this fight holds to reshape careers.
Jake Paul to beat Gervonta Davis. This is not a fight that I'm excited for at all. I would rather have Gervonta Davis fighting in a real boxing match against the likes of Lamont Roach, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Emmanuel Navarrete, anybody that is in the 135-pound division and around. That's who I want to see Gervonta Davis fight. However, we live in a world where everybody is trying to do things as big as possible. And the biggest fights possible right now, unfortunately for the sport of boxing, is an exhibition fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. So I do like it for this reason, though. I like it because it is allowing Gervonta Davis to have a fight that is going to be big and that the mainstream media is going to have to cover, the mainstream media outside the world of boxing. Gervonta Davis has been, without a doubt, blocked, having venues blocked, having fighters, having other promoters paying fighters away to go different directions from Gervonta Davis. So Gervonta...
That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, because the next one's coming soon, and you won't want to miss it.